All right, so today's Homelab Init, we're gonna go for about an hour here, and then I'll be back later tonight to do another one. But um, so a couple things I wanted to report on really quickly. I actually showed if you watched the last one, I did a whole tour of the rack, which is now finished. It's all built and it's got all those components in it that I care to add, except for the UPSs. UPSs, I got to save my money up for those because I want to get the 20 amp UPSs instead of the 15, so that eventually when I plug that into the wall, it will be in a 20 amp circuit. Um, but I don't know. We might end up having to do 15 and just watching the power. But that's a thing. So the main thing I did yesterday and today is so we got the optiplexes. These actually arrived yesterday, and let me actually. This is, you know what, this stuff all happened today. So let's put this in today. Okay, so I got the. So this is work related in that we're going to be installing SED on here and doing some of that work. It's also Friday, so you know, power up Friday, think Friday. Um, so I tested all the IOPS again. I was blown away by the performance of the SSDs on the Optiplex. It has a 256 gigabyte SSDs. We spent a long time. The vendor just says ATA, so we can't figure out the vendor of it. It says some sort of internal uh, OEM, kind of SSD. The Dell has got some partnership with it. Oh. And we've been fighting about whether to use Etsy host instead of DNS. And my contention is this: if I do tab with an Etsy host file, I get auto completion with SSH. Who doesn't want that in their home lab? I'm going to be typing this so many times a day to go onto my different servers and stuff, that having tab completion work with SSH is remarkably useful and easy. Is it the proper way? No, because we're going to set up Core DNS at some point anyway. It just removes the imperative for me to have Core DNS set up before I do a Kubernetes install or any of that, and I can actually let Kubernetes use its own internal Core DNS, which is kind of the default. And that's what we use at work, of course. And then I don't really need to add Core DNS or any DNS provider until I start doing round robin and testing, that kind of thing. So, but Mossy and I and Ryan have been kind of going at it about what thing we might want to use. Uh, yeah. Oh, that's a pretty thing. Yes. Um, anyway, there's you sent me something. All it is a picture. It's just a big picture. You sent me a JPEG link. It redirects to a JPEG. I do not know why. Copy link address. Paste. Nope, keeps redirecting to a JPEG. Yeah, there we go. Tech Journal. Some 20 something has opinions on static IP versus DHCP. So let's hear what they have to say. Uh, President of DA Consulting, that has just me in it. In many ways, I've been providing IT services whenever I take over a customer or competitor, providing consulting service for a company that I don't see DHCP reservations being used at all. I want to write a post. No, this is going to try to justify DHCP reservations, and it's totally stupid to do that. PBX is a good thing for sure. Yeah. Would be enough. Well, if you're look, config bash, yes. Um, Static IP, DHCP pros. Manage IP addresses from a single console. I'm surprised I don't see more stuff. They can often be quite. The funny thing is I've been using reserved DHCP my entire life at home because I'm lazy, not because it's the right thing to do. Ability to change IP addresses on the fly easy from a single console. Yeah. Manage network topology. The cons: the device must have proper DHCP configured. Device must rely on DHCP server once it's up. If you use this so as a device, this is the single biggest reason any professional will not do this. This consultant just like signed their fucking death warrant. I would never hire them. This is totally stupid. Look, if you have enterprise level critical stuff and your DHCP hiccups or your network DHCP reservation hiccups at all, and you can't talk about it, plus it like slows down reservations and stuff, I will never do that. I mean, I know it caches it locally and stuff like that. If a rogue DHCP person on networks, it may disrupt communication. Oh, you think? How do you attack servers? I'll tell you how. You take over their DHCP reservations and force them to be something else. You need to have your systems be static. I mean, even then, people like will change it and be static. I'm sorry, Mossy. I'm kind of mad because these two things are listed as like minimal cons are huge in the enterprise. In fact, I think there's actually like standards that require you have static IPs in some cases in the military because of these situations. So yes, it's annoying. Yes, you're going to mess it up, and I hated it. You know how hard it's been for me to decide that? I'm really glad we had this article though, and to talk about it. I'm not angry. I don't like that this person is kind of soft pedaling these cons. These are huge. These are really huge. And if he doesn't understand why, I'm surprised how hard he makes it. Look, so seriously, it's like, I'm so glad that you sent this though, because this is really distilled for me why DHCP is the devil in the enterprise. Create a network for everyone living there that was messing around with and went on vacation and no one had internet for a week. You're right. Yeah. If your server goes down, yeah. So, devices, wireless access points, printers. So this is stuff that I have on my DHCP network. Okay. Frankly, I probably shouldn't. My printers and stuff, unless they're on a firewall, I should probably have a separate network for all that stuff, to tell you the truth. And that network should probably be DHCP. So like all the Wi-Fi stuff in your house, right? That could probably be DHCP. Yeah. Use cases: remote offices, remote sites with limited access, remote branch offices, IP phone networks, wireless LANs. All right. Well, actually, I didn't read this whole article. So actually, it sounds like what he's saying is that for small scale environments. Okay, I think I'm with him on this. For DoD or when you have a DHCP server, yeah, there has to be. It's just another access point to attack. So this is basically when you have like Homeland Plus, like you have Homelab Plus, you have something that, I use OpenSense, yes. And yes, it has DHCP, and yes, it has registrations. I turned it all off. I am recording all this, yes. So, yeah, I know. It's not static, actually. It's a reserved. There's no such thing as a static DHCP mapping. They used the wrong words on that. That actually really made me question OpenSense. It's a reserved IP address. It's not a static IP address. Static means it never changes. It's reserved. It means DHCP hands it out dynamically. It just hands out the same one the same time every time. That's reserved. In fact, I'll give them credit on this. Most of the people that talk about this use the wrong words. Static IP versus DHCP reservation. You see how he said that? He didn't say versus static DHCP, which is a fucking oxymoron. There's no such thing. That's, dynamic is in the name. So, anyway, I don't know why I'm so amped up today. DNS, anyone use that? No, if we use DNS for me, it's going to be core DNS, and I'm going to use it for round robin scenarios. I will give him credit, though, is that I can't believe people are they don't even know. Static IPs use their switches. Why would you use a dynamic? If you set up a dynamic DHCP reserved IP for your switch, you should be fired on the fucking spot. I have to walk away for a second. I don't know why. I just thought I wouldn't really. Hey, Rob. I'm super dreaming. Sorry, I'm not really here. Oh, that one made me very happy. That one made me happy. And obviously, I don't mean you should be fired. You should be told, hey, you made a mistake here. Don't ever do it again. And by the way, you still have a job. Just don't do it again. I wouldn't fire you for that kind of thing. It's rhetorical. This is a perfect example of why people with, whatever. Look, you know what? As I've said before, take in multiple sources of information and make your own evaluation. But please talk to people who have been in the industry for more than 10 years and have security clearances and are, just get multiple ideas. I'm not, look, this guy's probably a wonderful guy, and I'm going to tell you what I agree with so you don't think I'm just angry. I do think that remote offices, support environments, branch offices, places that don't have an IT staff, right? Places that don't have an IT staff, they don't even have a single person in the office or your house or your grandpa's, home. They should all be DHCP for the same reason that your home is DHCP, right? On a NAS, network attached storage, put that on DHCP. And that's kind of what I'm afraid of here is that somebody's going to read this and they're going to do, DHCP all the things, make an informed decision. And he's actually saying that, but I think it's kind of getting soft pedaled here. He's like, wireless LAN access point VLANs. Maybe that's fine. I mean, we're talking about, IP phone networks, branch offices. IP phone network, I would not do. No. Actually, this is an interesting one. I hadn't even thought about that before. I'm thinking of all the ways that I could attack an IP phone network by taking it over with DHCP. All you have to do is stick a DHCP server. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's stuff. Anyway, so yeah, strangely enough, I almost did this. I almost did that very thing. I almost did because it's less of a hassle. You know what else is less of a hassle? Fucking Etsy host file. You can't use Etsy host, by the way, unless you have static IPs. So yeah. My VMs are going to default to DHCP. The phones have DHCP options. I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I'm just thinking about ways I could attack it and what I would do if I took over a phone. If I could run all the IP traffic, you could set up some sort of eavesdropping. I'm sure it's been done already. I don't know how, but I'm just intrigued. I've never attacked an IP phone network. I think that would be a really fun exercise. Yeah. People don't use phones that much, but you could totally tap. I mean, the phone traffic these days is encrypted anyway, right? I'm super interested in phone phreaking in the IP phone world. I think that would be interesting. Anyway, that's not for today. Yeah. Oh God. You're fired. No. Decided to use Etsy host instead of discover Etsy host allows us to tab combination. So, Homelab is tough because on the one hand, you want it to be easy to use because it's your Homelab, and on the because it's just you don't have a team. And the other hand, you also don't want to make too many shortcuts because then you're defeating the purpose of a Homelab, primary purpose for me anyway, which is to learn. So, I think setting up a DNS server is something we should all. Speaking of DNS, something that often gets talked about in the same breath as DNS is NAS and storage and stuff. And I do want to talk about that. So, I'm going to work on setting up NFS really quick. Considering setting up NFS for /home on everything. It's very common to do this. This is like an old school way of doing it. NFS is not really fast or anything. And it's got problems, but not lately. It doesn't have security problems anymore. So that's fine. NFS is the easiest to set up. I haven't done it in a while. Network file storage, remote file storage, redundancy for reliable with DHCP. Yeah, I agree. Yes. If you're going to use DHCP in an enterprise environment, I would definitely have one or more servers for DHCP if you can set up redundancy. I don't know how that would work, but you could definitely do Um, and suffice it to say that none of this stuff is relevant for any of my goals at home. I'm not planning on doing network engineering at work or here. I just want to be able to understand the networking stuff enough to have everything talk together and to simulate load balancing, DNS round robin load balancing, which is pretty common in the enterprise for inbound Kubernetes access. And Istio is going to require that and a bunch of stuff when we get to it. So that is something eventually that will require my own DNS server. And when I get that, I'm going to have to turn on a DNS server, and I'm going to have all my servers report into the DNS server to get their IPs so that they can look up the stuff on Core DNS, and then they can propagate upstream, in this case to Google, which has got the fastest DNS servers. The Cloudflare servers are slow. They're bad. I never want to use the cloud. The only reason I would ever use the Cloudflare server is if I had an application for some reason that was going to be distributed all over in the world and had multiple endpoints, because that's its whole, it's basically the Akamai original sort of thing for the CDN stuff. It's kind of like a DNS for CDN. DHCP failover profile. What? I didn't know there was a DHCP failover profile either. I've never done it or seen it. I've never seen it. I think you can do it, but I don't know of one. Yeah. The single biggest reason, there's two big reasons, right? Coach says, so just let me say again, I had OpenSense running and I had automatic DNS registration with DHCP. And so it would automatically take the name of the host and make that available on the network, right? There's lots of reasons to do that from a convenience standpoint, but from a consistency standpoint, that's probably not a good idea, right? So let me give you an example. So if I were to if I were to want to swap out one of my machines, right, and it wasn't just some generic thing, I would have to, I could actually, if I use DNS, I can just change the IP in DNS and have everything start talking to the new thing. If I become dependent on the registration thing, then I have to make sure I don't ever have two hosts on my network that are getting their addresses from DHCP, because they're going to register the host names as conflicting. So for that convenience starts to fall on its face, because you need to set it up properly. And even an Etsy host file is better than that, because I can just tell everybody's Etsy host files to change over. I can even say, okay, you're ready to talk to the new host that I have, the new Anton or whatever, right? And then I can change that Etsy host file so it talks to the new one, which I just actually think I just made an argument for using Etsy host even over DNS. Because in DNS, everything all of a sudden has to switch over to talking to the new thing. Called by managers, yes. All right, so suffice it to say, and I actually also have a thing I have to do. I have at 2:00 I have a meeting for the API development that we're working on, and I'm going to be reporting on the mock testing that I'm ready to go do and started doing. So I have a meeting. I have a meeting at 2 today, and then after that, I'm just going to keep on right on going. In fact, I'm going to stream during the meeting, and I'll just put music on. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, where were we? We were trying to decide whether we want to use NFS. So I know CephFS is a good thing. What are the alternatives to NFS? I'm going to do NFS probably because it's just so universal. It's still universal. It might be slow. It might have problems, but it is still so stinking universal in the Unix world. So, and I already am going to have a Samba. You know what? I just realized I got off my Broadcom. I think I can attach network attack Active Directory storage to one of my systems. I want to get at least one Samba mount. Samba is like the Windows thing, right? I'm just trying to think how I can do that. I want to put some Samba storage on the network, and I think I can just plug it into my pfSense, and it will show up even though it's USB. Yeah. I think I can do network attached storage as a USB drive attached to either my Netgear router, or they both have the capability of doing it. Plug and pray. Yeah. But I mean, the only reason that I want Samba stuff is I want to be able to exchange data with people, with my family on the network. And if I put it, yeah, I'm gonna do Wi-Fi. I'm gonna do Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay. Well, that means I have to add a device. I have tons of hard drives. I just need to add them. But I'm half my speeds, my pfSense. Yeah. My OpenSense had some configuration that was wrong. Fallen Hope. You might want to look at that. I had to disable IPv6. It completely hosed my network. Nothing was working. I couldn't search or anything. And the last release, 24.4, I think it is had some WAN issues reported. Yeah. I went from 22.7 to 22.7.4. And there were some V6 issues. I don't know if it fixed them, but I got V6 off. I'm not using V6 at all on my home line. I turned it off and everything started working again. So you might have a problem. If you do have a problem, you want to look at that. So we need NFS, considering, hello? Samba USB drive. Oh crap, somebody's messaging me. I have to answer this really quick. Do. A second, I'm doing work stuff. Here, let me pause the video. Okay, so I have a little bit of time and we got better light today. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo the tour of the rack so far as we have it. I just have a cheap monitor here that is usable. I can plug it into anything. I just take the cables and I reattach it to whatever I need to. And then we have two PDUs. These are 15 amp PDUs. They go into a wall socket of a 15 amp socket for this room. That's just this room. This PDU over here is also 15 amp, and it goes into the bathroom, which is on a separate 20 amp circuit from this one. And then we have the main, this is your PoE, but we don't use that. We have a patch cable. There's pfSense. This is an OpenSense pfSense router device. So the WAN is going into right here. Wait, I take it back. That is coming from the modem in the far back there. You can't see it, but that thing back there is the modem. And that's the modem, and that goes through the patch panel into the OpenSense. And then the LAN cable feeds this switch. And then that switch, without redundancy, feeds all of the other ones. This switch comes over here and feeds this switch. And then it also feeds, and then this switch goes up to here and feeds the switch. So everything's going through that switch. That's not a high availability network configuration, but I don't care. This is just a Homelab. I'm going to do those other two interfaces for a DMZ eventually, but I don't know how because I don't have room. So mic volume is too low. The mic volume needs a little increasing. What if I turn the sound down? If I turn the sound off? Yeah, if I turn the sound off. The music off. Wait, it's still on. Okay, how about now? Fine to you without the music? Yeah, check. 1, 2. I can turn it up just a tad. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Alright, so let me do that again. So we have, this is a Wi-Fi router. This used to plug right into the internet. It doesn't anymore. That plugs into the switch, just like any other switch. And take care of all my Wi-Fi devices. It also has a port on it, so I can attach a USB drive that will show up as an Active Directory drive, or as a Samba drive mount. These are the Optiplexes. These are going to run my control planes because they have SSD in them that get the higher rate. This is the 20 Mac Minis that I inherited from the school, and Tried to give to a charity and they didn't want them. They let them sit for a year. So I asked for them back, and there they are. Here's the gaming rigs that got repurposed. I used to have 16 of these. I only have 6 left, and they got repurposed to do GPU machine learning, hopefully, in Kubernetes. They have big ass GPUs, but they don't have very. They have like an i5 CPU. And then this is my HP. This is my new server. This is my VM server. This is where my virtual machines are going to go. And it's got 28 core and 128 megabytes of RAM. And, it's got, it doesn't have SSD, but that's okay. So that's it. All the cabling in the back is kind of organized down the side panels. The cabling goes down the side panels. I didn't feel a need to use Velcro on it unless it was in the way, because it's all side panel stuff. It kind of like goes through the walls, and the power and everything goes through the side panels. This is kind of a weird thing, but yeah, other than that, it's all side panel wiring. So it's still accessible, and the reason I like this is because I can pull these out. I can pull these out and plug in the monitor if I have to, but normally I'm not going to need to do that. This stuff can all be inserted in the front, so if I need to get a console on any of those, I just plug them in. So I'm actually kind of a fan of this setup, of these kind of like, commercial grade commodity hardware for this kind of thing, because if I were to pay the same for this entire thing, so these are 800. Actually, no, they're 500, I think. I think they're 500 actually, because we got the cheaper i5. So new, these are 500. There's 20, so that's $10,000. So just for the minis. So that was not cheap. I got these 3 for $450, so let's say 5. So that's something. And that cost me 400. This little guy cost me 4 or 5. The switches this one cost me, I think, 200, and these were a lot cheaper because this is PoE, so these are like 300. These Tridents cost about 1,000 each, so that's 6,000. The HP cost me 2,300, and the PDUs were 75 each. The racks were, I want to say, 100 each. So, and then we have a Mac Mini. We have a Mac Pro that you can't see behind there that costs $3,000. That's plugged in but not being used right now. So, yeah, it's about $25,000 worth of hardware. So, and that stuff was just sitting around, This thing wasn't cheap. This thing cost $300. That Netgear thing, yeah. I maybe I got that wrong. I remember it costing a lot of money for something. Here's the IRL rig. This whole thing needs to be redone. I have to redo the whole thing. It's been working faithfully, very good for me for a long time, but I have to reorganize it, make it prettier. Yeah. So... They all have GPU. Yeah, they all have GPU. It's a Bell box. Yep. I have 3 Bell boxes as well. And I'm using the Sony Cam. So, yeah, I'm actually going to do a video on the Bell box at some point. You want to... NVIDIA Jetson. Yep, it is. And I have 3 modems, T-Mobile, Verizon, and plenty of computing power. The truth is I already had it, right? Here's the thing, my friends. This hardware was sitting unused for 4 years because I invested a lot of money in the company that I started. I was running a school, and for lots of reasons, including COVID, I wasn't able to do the school anymore, and I had all this hardware left over, and it was like the Optiplexes. Did you see them? The Optiplexes and the server are the only new things. That and the rack stuff, the rack and all the PF OpenSense. The minis and the Tridents I've had. Those have been sitting in a box for 3 years. It's not going to pay itself off, but I've already sunk the cost into it because I started. It. The truth is, it already paid off, right? So all of this stuff was being used in my school for since 2013, and this is the leftovers for after the company. I stopped doing that. The company's just changed. I still have the company. I just do it online now, and I've scaled it back, and that's what I do online. That's why I'm on Twitch. That's why I'm here. Is because I wanted to move it, but at the time, I mean, if you go to here, I mean, if you want to see the original company, I can show you. If you go to Skill Stack, wait, say Instagram. Well, if you go to Skill Stack on Instagram, you can see, or on Twitter, you can see pictures of the original back when the school was working. So this is me cleaning the room after we got forced to move into an apartment, in a house. I'm sorry, into a house. We were in the house for 2 years, and they told us that we would be fine, and then they kicked us out of that house too because they wanted to quote liquidate the asset. And so this is when I scaled back to like 4 or 5 people. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people at a time maximum. But that was a significant change from, and I didn't have any money because I was running everything myself. This is an IKEA rack with a bunch of really shitty, but here's the minis, right? And I mean, if you go all the way back, so this is Game Camp, Lightsaber Camp, stuff like that. I mean, okay, so here's Skill Stack, right? Here's Sean hacking, seeing a hack. Hey, there's my gaming keyboard. This is him like looking at a thing. Yeah, that's because we got hacked. We got hacked on purpose. We made a honeypot. So here's my old, the old van. This is our old vans. And this is how we used to do it. S tracing it. Yeah, it was malware that was running on our system. So there's our, this is, God, I'm going to cry. Oh, I'm going to cry. Because these kids are all in college now. Remember the story I said? I can't say the names. I'll be doxing all these people. All of these people are in college now. All of them are. I mean, but it's not exaggeration to say they were like family to me because this was game night. So we had game night on the weekend. See, there's the Tridents. See what I'm saying? We had game night on the weekend. All these nerds who didn't have anything to do with other people would get together and we'd have game. God, I'm gonna cry. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. And the fact that it has to go away just makes me sick to my stomach. I am so glad I had those years, my friends. I mean, I can die a happy man just knowing I did that. I started that company because nobody was doing anything for those people. I designed that entire van myself. Mm-hmm. In Photoshop and Illustrator. I designed all of this stuff. I designed the logos and the car. There's Sam, our dog. This was like in Catawba Avenue on Main Street. And these kids, they would come here and then their parents would go over to the pub, right? There's a t-shirt. I still have 3,000 of those t-shirts. I think it might be revived. I want to. The only way this can be revived is if I became independently wealthy somehow. Because there's no way I can run a company like this and be profitable ever again. It does. It keeps them off the streets. You know what's really cool about it? Is it gave all of these hopeless gaming geeks a place to be social. You know? Our dog. I'm actually talking in this. Yeah, it was just so fun. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. I can talk about it forever. Yep, that's Sam. Same dog. But look, this was the downfall. So we woke up and this is what was in front of our house with no notification. And we were supposed to have Minecraft camp that day. You see all those orange things? Those are nails. Those are nails. And they didn't tell us. And I complained about this and they kicked me out. Bottom line, that's what happened. I said, why didn't you tell us? They said, do you have any idea what you just did? I'm supposed to have a Minecraft camp today. And then they told us, hey, we're going to do this. And so they said, you have to take all of your garden stuff off of the patio. I mean, it's like they wanted to destroy my company. And then we opened up the next morning. This is what we had. This is what we had. I was supposed to have Minecraft camp that day. They didn't notify me in advance. They didn't say anything. And they made us pull all of our. They didn't say it was going to be that day, but they made us pull our bikes in. I had to close. I had to cancel this. I had to cancel an entire week of income. I had to cancel an entire week of income just for the shit, with no warning and no recourse. That's what I was dealing with, because America. So the whole dream of like having your own place and running your own company is so bullshit in America, unless you like bow down to venture capital. Yeah. If you lease, they have full control of you. You have no life. They can do whatever they want to you. And if you run your business out of there, they can destroy you instantly. And if you funded your business yourself, yeah, it's a huge story. But the bottom line is they made us a verbal commitment that they were going to extend our lease. I went and invested 20K in gaming systems. And then they said, well, we're going to do roofing and stuff. They did this. And then I made a complaint about the roofing. I was like, you caused me to lose money here by forcing me to close and telling grandmas not to drop their kids up by tiptoeing over the nails. And then the guy got pissed off and he decided to cancel our lease. Essentially, that's what happened. And I was, whatever. I don't want to talk about it. And that whole thing. Now he's trying to sell it again. So he destroyed my business, did nothing with the space, and now he's closed out. Yeah, he literally destroyed my dream, like just obliterated it. And I said, you should probably start out with empathy next time. You know what he said? I don't do empathy. That's exactly his words. His exact words in response to that were, I don't do empathy. He could give a shit about this. Actually, specifically his wife. His wife, he would try to get a soft spot and his wife would kill him for it. Dude, it's just America. America doesn't give a shit about anything. People, it's all about the mighty dollar. And Mr. Sports Fan become real estate agent with the bitchy wife doesn't give a shit about anything except for her money. She doesn't give a shit about investing in the future or the importance of the business that I was running or any of that. They don't care. Do you think the government cares one fucking second when they take away like 40% of my early retirement to start a business? No, they want the money, the almighty dollar. Amazon and companies like it pay zero tax. I'm getting taxed 25%. 25% I was getting taxed for all this shit. Also, I had to pay a 40% penalty on the money that I took out of my own retirement fund, because you know what? The people who do this stuff don't have power. The people who do things that matter don't have power. The companies that have the power are the venture capital and the 1%. That's it. So that American dream shit, anybody tell me, okay, I got to stop. I think we're still recording too. But so yeah, we did this. This kid actually made all this himself. He started out with a simple project and he just kept expanding on it with Raspberry Pi. There's all of our gaming systems. They're so proud of it. I'm going to pull this back, because no matter what shit I had to go through, with that, I survived it, and these kids flourished, and they went on to do crazy, crazy, amazing things. They're still doing amazing things. Some of them even watch my stream regularly. Don't get mad, get busy. And I did. And I was like, okay, fine. You're going to shut me down? Okay, COVID, fine. You're going to shut me down again? Fine. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all those resources that I'm still paying on, actually. Yeah, some of them, many of them actually are in the stream. Yeah, they come in all the time. They come into my Twitch stream all the time. Yeah, some of them identify themselves even. And you should see the shit they're doing now. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm staring at a popcorn ceiling, dying of black mold, and looking at my rack with all the leftover, entrails of my old company. And I'm like, it's new life. It's new life for old hardware. It's a new life for old hardware ascertainment. You know what I mean? It's like, so why did I give you that big long sob story? Because people are like, how the hell do you have $30,000 worth of hardware in that rack? And now you know. That's how. And to be fair, this stuff right here, this this is really crazy. Check it. So um the uh this stuff Ben's on the hoster. So you see these Mac Minis, those two rows of Mac Minis on the bottom. I already said this. I'm going to say it again though. So after all this happened, and I was like, okay, I can do something good, right? So I said, fine. I'm going to invest all this. I'm going to give it to the local charity that says that it was going to do training for people. So I donated all of it, and I donated free time to it, and I donated like free time of my TAs and stuff. And they let it sit. They let it sit in a corner. This charity let all of these Mac Minis just sit. They were unused for a year and a half. A year and a half. I went back to them. I said, look, can I at least have them back? And they said, yes, yes, please take them. And so I took them back, and now I have them here, and we're going to put Kubernetes on them. And that's the story. That's the story. So, be perfectly placed. No, 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 no. They're just sitting there. I might actually make a thing to make them perfectly placed. I just stuck one. There's one finger between each one. That's my spacer. One finger. And then, because here's the thing, I need to be able to pull it out, right? I have to be able to pull it out. Yeah, I have to be able to pull it out. They actually have really great. I don't know if you can hear, but there's no sound. You, the only fan you can hear is the fan from. No, you can't even hear that. Actually, that's a different fan. Heat camera to them. No, I need to do a heat camera, but I haven't. No, I don't do them. The heat's fine. They all have like, they're all designed to run really cool, you know. And that's what I love about this commodity hardware. It's designed to run quietly and coolly. It's not enterprise hardware. To play stuff, yeah, I think that would do that if I were going. Uh, it's it's just crazy, and they're absolutely silent. There's no like big enterprise fan noise or anything. So yeah, is it? In fact, it's so successful that I would do it again. These guys. Okay, so the middle rack here. See? Right here. 100 watts on idle. Yep, I know. Yes, which isn't too bad. You know how much? So max CPU is 85 watts on a Mac Mini. No, yeah, it's 85 watts. I looked at it. I actually have it. I actually have that all that stuff written in. I did my calculations. Yeah, I did my I was a good boy, and I did my wattage calculations. Yeah, let me see if I can find them. Where are they? Oh, they're in the README. So here they are. No, I don't have a huge bill. We don't pay for power like you pay in Europe. Not nearly as much. Our power is pretty cheap here. It's going up a little bit, but not much. Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's people in England were saying they couldn't do this because it's so expensive. Our power bill is really not that bad. It wasn't that bad before. Yeah. So so the Mac Minis are 85 watts of power, power consumption. Max power consumption, 85 watts for those minis in Brazil. Yeah. Um, the Mac Pro is 902 watts, even though it's behind the minis. The nanos are 5 watts. They're not a big deal. PFSense, OpenSense is 16 watts. ISP mode is 5 watts. 100 watts for the PoE. I could probably turn that down because it's got PoE on it. CPU-based crypto mining? Hell no. I'm not crypto mining. I don't give a shit about that. Synology? Yeah, that's good. A 640. A 640 in Synology is fine. That's fine. I think that's fine. I just happen to have a bunch of stuff. I was like, I'm sick and tired of wasting all this. I'm not going to sell. I would never get the money out of it if I sold it. If you are using it. Oh, really? Oh, that's good. So that's good because I don't have enough budget. I did the calculation and the whole for each of the racks is pretty high. So this is rack 1, right? That's 2700 watts. So this is a 2 amp. I mean, this needs a 20 amp circuit if I max it all out, but I'm not going to max it. I'm probably just going to turn off the Mac Pro actually. Because I don't, I mean, I might, I don't know. We'll see. But right now, most of my stuff is idling, so I don't need to have it. Yes, it's burning power and I'm killing the environment. Okay, I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm doing stuff with it. I promise. This is almost exactly 2400 watts, which 2400 watts is 20 amps. That's 20 amps. 20 amp circuit. We'll cover that. So I wanted the wattages. This is max wattage, right? 20 amps will cover 2400. So honestly, I'm probably going to sell the Mac Pro and get knocked down 900. If I knock off the 900 watts, then I'll be easily under the 20 watt power for this. And then both of these eventually will have a UPS that plugs into the wall at home. But right now I'm going to be dealing with like shitty 15 amp circuits. And the reason I got PDUs that you can see the numbers on is so that I can tell how much I'm putting out so I don't trip. I want to know if I'm coming close to tripping. You know, with UPS, I don't know. I really want to get. I'm I like the ATC or whatever APC ones a lot, but there's so much. The 20 amps are like $3,000. If you get the 15 amp ones, you can get them down around 800, 900. As soon as you go to 20, they think you're enterprise and you pay crazy money for it. So I don't know. I saved 2 2U slots on each rack. I saved a 2U slot on each rack for the UPS eventually. But I have to save money. I don't have money for that right now. Also, I'm just going to run this for a while and see if it's actually going to do what I want. There's a chance that, it might not. So we'll see. But I'm super happy that it all fits in there. And it got enough plugs, power plugs and everything. Inverter's $400. Add 2 car batteries. People have been. Are you the one who was Mossy with inverter on Amazon? I sent you a Discord. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look at. I'm not ready to do PDUs yet. I'm gonna wait. I have to wait until we move for that. I mean, sorry, UPS. Unsealed. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not gonna do any UPS stuff. No. This is one of the reasons I don't want to do UPS. Okay. So I am literally working. It's already bad enough. The air quality in this room is already really bad. So I happen to know from a indoor pollution expert that I met randomly at a bar once that the people who suffer the most from heavy metal poisoning are technologists who work close to computers all the time. Because all the fans and everything, they're passing air over the mercury and the heavy metals and the electronics, and that if you don't ventilate the air in the room just becomes toxic. It's a small percentage of toxicity, but if you're there every day for 20 hours and you sleep in the room, even like I do sometimes, it's super dangerous. Over long amounts of time, it can become a problem. And, they deal with that kind of pollution all the time to try to clean it up. And so, I mean, when it's not just the room gets warm. When the room gets warm, that means that all the air in that room has been passed through your devices. It's just getting recycled. And so adding a UPS with potentially dangerous battery gases to the whole thing, no, not right now. No, I'm not doing it. So, because there's 30 or 40 fans over there that are constantly on, blowing air over all those electronics that are on all the time. And it's just not, it's bad enough that I have the dog over there. The dog I'm allergic to. Sealed batteries would be better, yeah, if you were going to do that, but yeah. Your can is frozen. What are you talking about? My can? No, it's not frozen. It's just pointing. It's stuck on the ground. Yeah. What do you think, Cam? Sam, is my camera working? What's up? It looks like her body's really tiny. There's kids outside. There's kids outside. You're such a good dog, Sam. You're a good doggy. Even though I'm allergic to you. What? What? Pet me more. Pet me more. All right. Are my things charged up yet? 73%. 73%. Slow charging. 50%. I mean, that's enough to go shopping, I guess. Maybe we should just go shopping. What do you think, Sam? Do you think it's enough? Sealed lead acid batteries? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I like that my camera is portable now, though. EPSs are sealed. Mic is low because I walked away from the mic and I kept talking because I forgot I need a mic. Hey, can I try something? No, I don't want to try that. When I do that, you have to remind me to turn my camera, my camera mic on. Yeah. Oh, I'm about to break out. Yeah, my wrist is about to get hives because I pet the dog. It's windy, but the main thing hits us like 10 a.m. Oh wow, look at you. Is that new or you started? You might need a capture card. My wife's trying to redo video stuff. Getting gas now. Cheap wireless mic on eBay. They suck. Yeah. I have the Rode, but it's not very good. Here, I'll show you. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I'm kind of in a blah state. I'm kind of in between a bunch of things right now. I'm trying to decide what to do. I don't know. I think we might have missed our window on the whole going outside thing. It's like it's starting to rain more now. Stop it, Sam. Sam, stop it. She heard the other dog. Sam, don't bark. Stop it. We have a filter that we can use if we need to. What?
Do we have a computer
We have a computer, yes.
that I can plug this into?
Plug one into. Hey, Merton. Oh God.
Or
That's
is there
a
converter?
lightning adapter.
I know, this is old technology.
You know, I think the Mac Pro might still have
I
one.
feel like it might. I feel like we had one that had something like that.
Do you have a computer?
Rob, do you have a computer?
Software
I
engineering?
understand.
No,
This was.
because sometimes I stream coding. Does this look like software?
This is what I need
It's lightning bolt.
for a
Here,
camcorder.
wait, let me get them. They can't
download
see.
videos from
There you
the
go.
1990s.
You're just like here, back right there.
See?
See there.
This is what I need.
All right, so we need to go find you. The Mac Pro actually that could do it is completely buried. None of those have anything.
It doesn't have to be right now. I'll just look at the videos in there, but then I'll have to transfer.
I'm thinking of pulling the Mac Pro out of there anyway.
So,
Oh, actually, go look on that iMac. The iMac, because that's old. That might have it. Oh. Yeah, Merton. Appreciate the feedback, but there's no one category. I stream to like 6 categories. And right now, this is not software. So. No? I know that I'm.
Not like an old laptop.
No. I mean, we're talking old that would have that. We're talking like 90s old.
I wonder if they sell a converter.
The laptops are all right here if you want to check.
Oh, what's this thing? Because the camera also has one like this. Does that matter? What is that for?
That's a serial. It's yeah. Oh yeah, video. You can use S video.
Do you have a cord of that? You don't have to get it right now, but
You're gonna make me regret throwing away my old video cords.
I'm planting.
She's looking for an S video cord now. You guys know
I
S
saw
video?
that it's on there too.
S video. Can I have a spare laptop? I mean, I have a lot. Oh, here's something fun. Check this. S video, I know. She's trying to convert some old stuff. All right. Look at that. Wasted iPads. Who wants an iPad? iPad.
I don't remember how to break into them though.
I don't know how to break into them.
You don't remember your password, so we can read it.
No, I can't. It was like 10 years ago.
You didn't have it written down somewhere in your secret
No,
password
I haven't.
file?
No, I didn't need to. You can break into iPad stores.
I can't. You can try.
I'm gonna try.
You can do it through your iCloud account or whatever, but you didn't want to do that whole nonsense.
No, I didn't. There, I put you on my camera because you're yelling at me. She's mad. She's mad and she's frustrated because I don't have all this tech and I don't have an S video and I don't have a lightning bolt. So now she's mad at me.
It also has one of these. Do these plug into the computer?
Hell yeah. I have a capture card. Why don't you just use that?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, don't yell. Calm down. Apparently, I have to help my wife right now.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I do, because your tone would indicate otherwise.
No, it's when you're asking me something that is not in my area of expertise.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like, I should know
I'm
how to
sorry.
do, like, toast bread.
I'm sorry. I know what it feels like. It's like, duh, when you do that to me with art stuff. All right. Here, we're going to help you here. So you need, what's your goal?
The goal is to get the video from the camcorder into a computer. So so I can save it.
The video from the camcorder